Captain's Log, Stardate 413.2026. Oh, hello. The original Star Trek series had a decently faithful following when it aired between 1966 and 1969, but not as much as the powers that be had hoped. It really took off in reruns, and out of the blue we had demands for more. Meanwhile, the 70s saw a spate of animated versions of several popular shows, not the least of which was Batman, which is a story in itself. We saw new animated adventures of Batman and Robin, of Superman, and a number of others. If your live-action show got canceled, go animated. It took about 3 more years, but somebody got the idea to do that with Star Trek. Unlike a lot of the other shows we've looked at, this one had to have the original voices or there was no way it was going to gain a following. We got away with using other voices for Superman and Batman, but Captain Kirk? No way would audiences buy that. So we have animated stories with the original cast doing the voices.
Space, the final frontier. These are the voyages of the starship Enterprise.
This is a decent animated rendition of the original opening monologue. By this time, just about everybody in America could recite the words. Grammarians were whining about the split infinitive to boldly go, and young folks were anticipating an exciting story. As you can hear, we wrote a new theme for it, but it's similar enough to the original that most people accepted it. And don't worry, because we only credited 3 of the cast. Uhura, Sulu, and Scotty are there too. As with the original series, their appearances are job dependent, so how much screen time they get varies with the story.
Captain's Log, Stardate 5221.3. On outward course beyond the fringe of our galaxy towards Questar M17, a source of mysterious radio emissions. Mission? Star charting.
Hold on, did he say... Give me that again.
On outward course beyond the fringe of our galaxy towards Questar M17.
In the original series, there's a barrier at the edge of our galaxy, and a starship can't penetrate it. When the Enterprise tried, it led to all kinds of difficulty. How'd we get past it? Did Captain Kirk find a door?
Situation, Mr. Scott?
We've picked up speed, sir, rapidly. I've cut back power, but we continue to gain momentum.
Mr. Sulu?
She's not answering the helm, sir. 2 minutes right ascension off course and drifting farther, Captain.
We'll hear the term right ascension a lot, and I don't know how it applies when you're in deep space. On the ground, we have longitude, imaginary lines that we've drawn from the North Pole to the South Pole to divide the planet up laterally. And then we have latitude, similar imaginary lines that we've drawn around the globe, radiating outward from the equator or the midpoint between the top of the planet and the bottom. If you know the longitude and latitude of a place, you can find it. If you take those lines and extend them out into the sky around us, you have right ascension, which is equivalent to longitude, and declination, which is equivalent to latitude. If you have a telescope that uses this coordinate system, you can find any known object in the sky by pointing your scope at its right ascension and declination. The key point is, the whole system is based on Earth's latitude and longitude. How does that work in a starship way out there? Best that I know from my experience with astronomy, it doesn't. Then again, this takes place in the somewhat distant future. Obviously, between now and then, somebody figured it out. Reversing course doesn't help. I'm not sure I can name a time when it did, but you always have to try.
I can only describe it as hypergravity, Captain. More powerful than any we've ever encountered. It's dragging the Enterprise toward it.
Why aren't our sensors picking it up? Forward scanners, Mr. Sulu.
Captain, that's the source of the radio emissions.
In the original series, they communicated by subspace, which, as I recall, they never explained, because it was more or less instantaneous. Normal radio waves required some monkeying with the instruments. I suspect we're calling this signal radio because it's an easy shorthand that everybody understands, especially the younger everybody's. Incidentally, we have now heard from all of the original cast members. And before someone asks, no, I don't know who that guy sitting next to Sulu is.
Negative star mass. Spectra analysis. Imploded matter. But every reading on it is negative.
Captain, we're still gaining speed.
But whoever he is, he can change to Mr. Scott and back at will. He'll do that several times in the next few seconds.
How much time do we have?
Impact in 93 seconds. 92. 91.
Is he really going to count the whole thing down? That is so Spock.
Captain, there's another signal. Listen.
"40 seconds, Captain."
That was the fastest 50 seconds you'll ever see. We went from 90 to 40 in 10 seconds. I timed it. Anyway, nothing they do is having an effect. In the 23rd century, do they still say, bend over, put your head between your knees, and kiss your butt goodbye?
Sulu, flank speed ahead. Our only chance is to try to get into orbit around that thing.
Aye, aye, Captain.
Nine seconds. 8. 7. Orbital velocity.
Steady as she goes, Mr. Sulu. Maintain orbit.
Aye, aye, Captain.
Isn't angular momentum a wonderful thing? At least for now.
If his pull is this strong, Jim, how do we get out of orbit?
Slingshot effect, Mr. Spock? Do we have enough power?
I'll need some time for the computations, Captain.
I'm getting that radio sound again, sir. 9 seconds right ascension from galactic plane. Dead ahead and closing fast. It's on the view screen now, sir.
Put us alongside, Mr. Sulu.
Aye, aye, sir.
I know it's supposed to be a ship, but that looks like a piece of giant kelp that got lost. It's also really, really big. Exploring it may take them beyond their 5-year mission.
It's a starship. Like nothing I've ever seen. The size of it.
It's been damaged. I'll bet she was pulled in like we were.
It's coming from that ship, Captain.
Confirmed, Captain. But it isn't possible. That ship is dead. Temperature is absolute zero. There's no thermal reading to support life aboard her. And no energy store to send radio messages.
And yet he and Uhura are both detecting it. So I guess it's not too impossible.
Nothing except a slight magnetic flux reading, which could be normal for the ship's metal.
You're sure, Mr. Spock?
Probability 0.997, Captain.
Can you identify that metal or the design of the ship?
Negative to both, Captain.
The magnetic flux could be normal for this unknown metal, which I shall call Spockium.
Retroanalysis of the ship's spectra dates it as having been in orbit here for slightly more than 300 million years.
Good grief, no wonder they ran out of gas and everything else. It's safe to assume that since they're here and they're in orbit rather than a splat on the planet's surface, they must have a warp drive of some kind. Kirk, Spock, Scotty, and McCoy will get life support belts and go look around the ship.
Activate life support belts. Energize.
The hexagonal shape of the windows suggests a similarity to natural insect designs of Earth.
The whole structure is a series of interconnected pods. Made of what? This doesn't look like Spockium.
Would you look at this now? This metal, it isn't cast or rolled. It was drawn into filaments and spun.
Like a spider spins his web.
A lighter and stronger material than anything we have now.
Look. Every pod. They've all been burst open.
Aye. From the inside, from the looks of them.
On Earth, when you see something like that near what appear to be spider webs, what's the first thing that comes to mind? Answer: something that won't come to their minds.
Kirk to Enterprise.
Enterprise, Lieutenant Uhura here.
Lieutenant, are you still getting that radio signal from the ship?
Negative, Captain. It stopped transmitting when you beamed aboard.
All right. Lock on us with the transporter and be ready to transport. We're going inside.
Transporter beam on and locked. Standing by.
As we know, anything from a nuclear blast to a happy puppy jumping into one of their laps can break the transporter lock and block the ship from re-establishing it. So many of us are asking, what's going to do it this time?
Gives me the creeps. I feel like something's watching us.
I feel it too, Captain.
A physiological symptom of latent primal superstition. The fear of primitive people confronting something unknown to them.
Compared to the beings that built this ship, we are primitive people, even you, Mr. Spock.
There's a reason why we still have that instinct, Mr. Spock. Ask Spider-Man what a healthy dose of it can do for you. I'm guessing here, but maybe Spock figured since the whole place is one big energy collector, a burst of energy might be how you open the door.
Tricorder analysis, Mr. Spock.
Artificial gravity is in effect here, Captain. Both air and gravity within 2 points of Earth normal.
Enterprise, do you read me? Sulu.
No use, Captain. Some sort of interference has been set up.
Told you. Sometimes it seems like someone yelling too loud can block their communications. I know they use subspace for long distances because it's faster, but maybe they should switch to CB radio for close proximity. It seems more reliable.
We can cut our way out of here.
No energy registering. Something's drained them.
You mean we're trapped here? No communication? Nothing?
For the moment.
There are lots of big, important-looking machines here. Let's start finding some to break so we can get someone's attention.
This was the control center of the starship.
Isn't it a lucky break that you happened to beam into that particular pod?
These must be control and navigational instruments.
The source of the interference is here, Captain. It's not part of the normal equipment. It's like something they jury-rigged during an emergency.
Something to shield this room. But shield it from what?
Possibly from whatever had come aboard their ship.
But nothing, no form of life could survive 300 million years.
Quite right, Mr. Scott. No known form of life.
To put it another way, we haven't met everybody yet.
Jim, the door.
Something is trying to get in. The field of interference is reacting against the magnetic flux lines, Captain.
Will it hold?
If the energy stays at that level.
What is it?
I'm not sure.
but I think.
It's trying to talk. There's a message in here somewhere, but it's in an ancient language. Anybody got a 300 million year old dictionary?
I may be able to get a translation.
Hurry up, Spock.
Patience, Doctor.
Who needs a dictionary? We have a Spock.
The dead star. We are being drawn to it. Rather than carry this malevolent life form to other worlds, we have decided to destroy our own ship. There is no other answer.
But for whatever reason, it went into orbit around the dead star instead. That means whatever this malevolent entity is, that's him knocking on the door.
If you understand this message, you are protected only for this moment in this room. This thing you watch.
I know I said to break stuff, but that was before they... Never mind.
Get out of here. Hurry.
I guess that shielding was also what was blocking the transporter.
Located them right after that explosion, Mr. Sulu. We're locked on and beaming them aboard.
Good work, Mr. Kyle. I thought we lost him when we were cut off so long.
Piece of cake, sir.
That exchange raises an important question. When did Mr. Kyle grow that mustache? I think he's working toward the Snidely Whiplash look. He's well on his way.
Here they come now. Captain, something beamed aboard with you.
Transport it back out.
Oh, right, there's also the question of the safeguards and protocols that are supposed to be built into the transporter so that doesn't happen. Within seconds, this thing has taken over the entire ship.
Captain, Decks 5 and 6 report shutdown of all life support systems. They've gone to life support belts. Manual override is not responding.
Trouble in the engineering core, sir.
Bridge to sick bay. Bones, get down to the engineering core on the double. Get on those life support systems now.
Why is he sending Dr. McCoy? Isn't that Scotty's department? Unless he thinks the doctor can inject the alien with something. But what? Not to mention how.
The force field of his belt won't hold that weight for long, Jim. Override systems, Mr. Spock. Open the core hatch.
It's no use, sir. The mechanism is frozen. They've already tried.
Something's jammed the circuits. They're magnetized.
All right, get the cutter beams on that hatch. Move. Yes, sir.
Okay, Scotty is already there and in trouble. Somebody could have told us that. The cutter beams are effective and he gets out of that mess.
Bridge to Captain Kirk. Something's activating the ship's phaser banks. They're locking on the alien starship. Phaser banks were off, Captain. They activated themselves.
No, a green cloud activated them. It's done examining the ship and has decided the Enterprise will serve as its new home.
Spock, can you rig a low-frequency shield like the one on the alien ship on our navigation console?
It would have a very small field.
Do it.
If they can isolate the main flight controls, they can at least keep this thing confined to right here. And then, once he figures that out, he'll probably tell us in his log.
It's activated, Captain. but only an area 3 meters square.
Do you get a magnetic flux reading there now?
Negative, Captain.
Jim, you don't think that's going to help us. Whatever that thing is, it survived millennia in a dead hawk. All it has to do here is outlast us and just take over.
No. It must be held by the magnetic force of the dead star, and it needs a starship to break free and a crew to man it.
You are correct, Captain James T. Kirk. And I have the starship I've waited for so long. So terribly long.
The crew of that other ship abandoned it and tried to destroy it rather than let this thing get loose. It's quite full of itself. It starts demanding that they remove the shield over the console. That tells us the shield is working.
You will now remove the static shield from the navigation console, Captain James T. Kirk.
You have shut down life support systems and endangered members of my crew. Restore those systems first.
All non-essential systems are extinguished. You will obey me.
And if I refuse?
Obey me.
Captain.
Obey me.
Stop. You'll hurt him.
Remove the static shield from the warp drive controls. Do it now.
No, Captain.
I'll obey. Let him go.
Earlier, they called that bulb thing an automatic bridge defense system. So, just like the Super Friends with the Hall of Justice, they've installed deadly weapons in the main room, essentially pointed at themselves. It never occurred to any of them that this thing might use them. Still, Captain Kirk is a man of his word, so he'll do what he said.
Mr. Scott, start repairs. Install the auxiliary controls.
Aye, Captain.
But he'll keep his word his own way. I'm not sure what the force field from his belt did, but the alien didn't like it.
The slingshot effect to yank us out of orbit. Can you compute it in your mind? If we try to use ship's computers...
The alien will know. I believe I can, Captain. I will need to aid Mr. Scott.
The engineer will need aid from my first officer to complete repairs. Is that permitted? I guess it is.
Hey, he didn't say no, so they'll get to it while Spock is running the numbers. He was getting ready to do this on the computer when Harvey there showed up.
You will leave this orbit and plot course to galactic coordinates 036.231.
That's the heart of the galaxy, Captain.
Plot the course, Mr. Sulu.
Course plotted and laid in, sir. Spock and Scotty have finished hooking up the auxiliary controls.
The auxiliary warp drive controls can only be operated manually.
That is correct. You will activate the manual controls. Obey.
Controls activated.
Captain, we're dropping out of orbit. We're falling into the dead sun.
That's the idea. He's letting this thing know that he's ready to do the same thing the other crew did and destroy the ship, rather than let the creature get loose in the galaxy.
No! Accelerate! Do not destroy the ship! Obey! Obey! Obey!
Stand by to activate warp drive unit.
No! Don't!
Activate warp drive.
Activated, Captain.
Please! Don't!
It's a good thing the alien didn't take enough math classes to understand how a slingshot maneuver works. Now that it's left the ship, they can finish the process and break loose from this.
Don't leave me alone. Please. Please. So lonely.
I understand that, and if you had asked to begin with, they might have been willing to find a way to help you. But you automatically decided to take what you wanted by force and threats and violence. Humans don't take kindly to that stuff, in any century.
Captain's log, stardate 5221.8. Final entry. Resuming outward course beyond the farthest star of our galaxy. Mission, star charting.
Within 3 days, everyone was so bored they decided to go back and fight that alien some more. I went through this entire animated pilot, and not once did I find myself saying, "Oh, come on!" This is well made. Our characters sound just like they always have, and as far as the mission and the story go, the original series established that entities like this one can and do exist. Zephram Cochrane's companion comes immediately to mind. The creature that the crew knew as Jack the Ripper even took over the ship, so we have precedent for that. My only question is who this guy is, but presumably we'll find out somewhere along the way. Filmation was a good choice for production company. Not only did they have a proven track record, people liked their style, myself included. If this pilot is a good representation of the series, we're in for a fun time. So be sure you're subscribed, hit the bell so you know when the next one appears, and if you like what I'm doing here, you know which other button to push. As always, it's a privilege to spend time with you like this and know that out of everything there is to watch out there, you chose me. That's an honor that we don't take lightly, and we can't thank you enough for hanging with us. Until next time, I'm Irving, this is Hazel, and we'll see you then. Okay, Scotty, 2 to beam up. When the Enterprise, the magnetic flux could be normal for this unknown. Okay. Oh, right. There's also the question of the safeguards and protocols that are, I can say protocols. That tells us it's working. It's working. Good grief. It's working. This is well made. Don't bite your tongue.